this is actually something that came out on 60 Minutes this year, back in April. China, too many men. As I, they had the one child, and unfortunately, the one child everyone wanted was boys and not girls, and many of the girls were aborted. And it's probably now the most imbalanced country on the face of the earth when it comes down to ratio between men and women. As China President Hu Jintao, his first official visit to the United States this week, his nation faced a demographic time bomb that could affect its stability. With more than 1 billion people, China has too many men. According to the latest census, an average of 120 boys are born for every 100 girls. Wow. Do you know? Oh my God, that is crazy. Average of 120 boys are born for every 100 girls. Oh my God. How the hell did they let that happen? The greatest imbalance in the world. Correspondent Leslie Stahl reports the root of the problem is a traditional preference for sons. In China, as in other Asian countries, it is sons, not daughters, who usually take care of their parents in old age. To deal with its population explosion, China imposed its strict and harshly enforced one-child policy in the 1980s. And that's when things started going out of whack as couples faced with having only one child, went to great lengths to ensure it was a boy. And 60 Minutes found they still do. So they still, although they are greatly out of balance, couples are still preferring a boy over girls, which means they're at the point of no return, y'all. They're at the point of no return. They're already gravely out of balance, and now you still got the restrictions in place, and couples still want boys. You can't have a society of all boys and procreate. 60 Minutes visit Lynch Chuang, a small village in Changzheng province in southern China, where the absence of girls is most acute. When Stahl went to the number 10 high school here, with its 7,000 students, the problem was clearly visible. There were far more boys than girls. For every 100 girls, there are 150 boys. One class of high school juniors insisted that the lopsidedness didn't bother them until Stahl pressed the case. When asked whether they wish that more girls were in the school, the boys and girls answered with a resounding yes. The one-child policy is 25 years old, so the first generation is just now reaching marriage age. And for China, that's a big problem because it's estimated that as many as 40 million of its young men could spend their lives as bachelors. Woo! That is a lot of men. See, ladies and gentlemen, now you understand why they are in Africa getting married to the African women. In a way, some people were saying, well, why don't they just go to other nations, other Asian nations and get women from there. Let me tell you something. Melanin is life. Melanin is life. Okay, plain and simple. If they want longevity, you want that melanin. I understand why they're doing it now. And you can clearly see why they are even having sex with the African women or leaving. These men probably go so long without having any type of sexual activity in their life. If they're, I mean, it's like an explosion of men and hardly no women. That means a lot of these men, I mean, let's be real, are going to be going throughout their life with hardly no sex. Okay. I mean, so they have a decision to make, to sit there and deal with it or go outside to other countries and find women. And that's ultimately what these men are going to have to do. They can no longer look at certain women and say, well, I'm not going to touch them. They don't have that option anymore. They don't have that option. And, you may say, why don't they go to other Asian nations? But those other Asian nations also have low birth rate. It's low birth rate in Japan. Korea has low birth rate. Taiwan, all of those Asian nations right now, they're all going through a low birth rate. Right. The continent of Africa, everybody is prospering. They don't have low birth rate there. So it would make sense that they go to Africa because there's no low birth rate. They're not suffering from any imbalance between men and women there. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't encourage that. I still think it's wrong, but I'm just saying, being that it is 40 million bachelors in China, I understand why they would go outside of their country looking for women at this point. Some of these men have joined the country's floating population, 140 million migrants who moved to other cities like Beijing in search of work. The 60 Minutes team came upon a group of men on the street corner where they gather every day illegally, hoping for day jobs. Before the police came to shoo them and the TV crew away, Stahl asked them some questions with the help of an interpreter. Asked if it was hard to meet women and get married, a man told Stahl, though the interpreter, he was saying, you have to have a little wealth before you can get married. And you know what? The women can actually do that. They can hold out for a wealthy man. If you're poor, nobody will go with you. Well, being that there's so few women, like I said, they can hold out for a more wealthy man now and probably get easier because there's so few women. It'll probably be easier to find a more wealthier man. The gender imbalance grew out of communist China, draconian social engineering policies, where a woman, after having one child, was forced to make a choice: sterilization or insertion of an IUD. Wow, that's pretty harsh. To make sure the women kept their birth control devices in, the government started in 1982 send portable ultrasound machines all over the country. They were compact and lightweight, and even some small villages got as many as 2 or 3. But in a classic case of unintended consequences, pregnant women realized that the machines could also identify whether they were having a boy or girl. And as a result, by conservative estimates, more than 8 million girls were aborted in the first 20 years of the one-child policy. The government tried to discourage these abortions. Zhang Beige, vice minister of the Family Planning Commission, says it's now illegal to get an ultrasound in order to identify the baby, the sex of the baby. Okay. It is against the law, she explained. A pregnant woman can still get an ultrasound, but only if medically necessary to make sure the sex of the fetus is not revealed. 2 doctors are present, and the exam is recorded on closed circuit TV. Damn. Oh my God, they live under some serious restrictions. If a doctor told an expectant mother the sex of the baby, Zhao said, the physician wouldn't be able to continue his or her job and would be fired. But Chinese couples determined to have a boy can get around the restrictions on ultrasound by going underground in back alleys where illegal storefronts have sprung up to meet the demand. Ultrasound machines are inexpensive in China. They cost about $360. And as 60 Minutes saw, they are small enough to be hidden in a closet or even in a trunk of a car to do scans on the run. And that's made it difficult to crack down. We showed the minister some Chinese newspaper photos of a van parked in a Beijing suburb doing ultrasounds in the back. We need more enforcement, Zhao said. Well, one of the ways that this imbalance came about is through abortion. Millions and millions and millions of abortions. That's in one country, y'all. One country. Why didn't the government clamp down on that? Stahl asked. Let me go to another point, the vice minister replied. Her other point was that China's abortion rate is going down, but she didn't explain why abortions are still free and legal right up to the 9th month. Wow, they can abort even up to the 9th month? Oh, that is crazy. So they can abort all the way up to the baby is practically full term. Even as the boy-girl imbalance grows. Oh my God, they can abort all the way up to the 9th month. I have never heard that before, ever. Woo! China has done this to themselves. You know what? I mean, I'm not an African woman, but I sure wouldn't help these Chinese people. I wouldn't give birth to none of their babies. I'm just saying. You know, African women under this circumstance, you got more power than you think. You don't have to settle for these men. And I wouldn't. You know, why should you keep their seed alive? If it was an imbalance in Africa and the African men were going over to China, they would have a fit and they would know it. And you know it. They would have a fit. They wouldn't like all those African men going in their country if there was an imbalance in Africa going after their Asian women. They wouldn't like it at all. So why allow them to come there and do that with the African women? Compensate for whatever they're lacking. And they caused this whole thing on themselves. Millions and millions and millions of abortions. This is what caused their situation. It's not like a natural decrease. This was self-inflicted, what China did. But please tell me what you think, y'all. This is crazy. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.